Hey everybody, this is Chris Huber from Artistic Curves Academy, and today I'm going to go over the brush tool in Photoshop. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and open up a new file, new document, and I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at default because we're just going to test the brush out on this document. Now you'll find your brush tool in your toolbox and your tool palette right over here, and it is the brush, or you can hit B on your keyboard to select that, and as you can see, your icon goes from an arrow to the actual brush. Now, you can manipulate the size of your brush by coming up here and clicking that open, and here you have your size of your brush. You see? Go a little smaller. Or you can also manipulate the hardness of your brush. The hardness is at 100%. You'll get this sharp edge you see around the edge of the brush. Or if it's down to 0, you'll get a softer edge, like this. Raise the size up just so you can really get a chance to see this, like this. So this is 0 hardness, this is 100% hardness. 0 hardness, 100% hardness. And that can be found literally right here in the small brush attribute. Here you have your opacity of the brush in regards to how dark the brush comes in. So if I have my hardness, say, at 100%, so I get this hard, nice, solid thickness, I could drop the opacity, which is basically the transparency of the brush, down, say, 12%. When I click, I don't get much of a color. As you can see, I have to click quite a few times just to even come close to the darkness of this brush. So that's the brush basically in a nutshell. I'm going to go ahead and kill this document, open up a new one. Okay, now you'll be able to find your brushes over here, over to the right side of your screen. You should see a button here called Brush. And when you open that up, you have your brush and you have your brush presets. Okay, if you're here, you can click on Brush Presets, it takes you right back over here. Now, this allows you to manipulate how your brush looks, and you get a sample of what that is down here in this little viewport. So I click on Shape Dynamic. Let's say if I manipulate your spacing, see what that looks like? That's what the brush is going to look like when it comes in. As you can see, my opacity is still at 12, so let me just go ahead and raise that back up to 100% and try that again. So you see, that's how the brush is going to come in, by manipulating the brush over here in this attribute. You can also manipulate the scattering on how it scatters, turn it on and off for spacing. This is all stuff for you to just basically play around with in order to really get a good feel as to what the brush can do. So this here is all pure experimental. Okay, you can just experiment with that and then really get a good sense as to how this brush actually works. Okay. Now, if you go to your preset, you'll see that you have a bunch of different kinds of brushes and what they do. You have some brushes that look like chalk. You have some brushes that look speckled. You have some brushes that are just thick, solid lines or just straight lines. You have some brushes that look like grass. So if I pick the green color on my color palette, I click on the foreground color and I select, say, green. Pick a green color anywhere around in here, click OK, and I scrub that over. I got like a little grassy kind of color. So you can play around with this and get a good sense as to what these brushes do. This is all pure experimental. Okay. Now you'll use these brushes to the point to where you're sick and tired of them. You want to start using some new brushes. Well, you can by importing and loading new sets of brushes into Photoshop. I'm going to go ahead and kill this document and open up a new one. No, file, new. Okay, and this time I want to use a custom brush. Now, to use custom brushes, you can go ahead and do a search online for Photoshop brushes. A lot of different websites will pop up. Myself, I tend to go to Brush Easy and just type in a keyword in here, hit search, and you'll have a small library of what you're looking for from Brush Easy, brusheasy.com. And then once you got the brush downloaded, download it onto your desktop, then you can go ahead and load that brush into your desktop. I went ahead and loaded up a brush already, so let's go ahead and take a look at that, but I'll show you how to do that. Go into your brush, here are your presets, and then you will click on this little ticker right here, scroll down to where it says load brushes, and then you'll navigate to where you have your brushes. In my case, it's in my desktop, and this is the brush that I downloaded from Brush Easy called Death Bat Brushes. Select it, and then hit load. Now, once you load it, it's going to be the last brush that's loaded in your brush palette. So you need to scroll all the way down, and here you'll find the different brushes that you loaded. In this case, Death Bats. Some of these brushes, they come in different sets. And different varieties of that set that you were looking for. It's just a matter of which brush you would like to use for what project. And basically, in a nutshell, that's basically it. Another way you can upload a brush into your preset, and of course it will populate at the very bottom, is to simply detach Photoshop from your screen, open up the folder that your Death Bats are in, and then you can simply click and drag the brush into the palette, and it'll load up just as easy as well. Aside from that, that's basically all it is. It's very simple, it's all experimental, and I hope you guys have fun.